What up? It's your boy Dave B. You watching DaveBeyondTV, where we go beyond the early bull that people be consuming on a day-to-day basis. You know what I'm saying? Got to keep it PG this time. You know what I'm saying? Got the little one in the back. But anyway, you know what I'm saying? So for the most part, you know, we're gonna talk about this full moon energy because you know, this is the first full moon of the new year, or the, you know, fake new year. You know what I'm saying? But if you think about it, it's a continuation of what we already been developing since 2022. You know what I'm saying? In the sense of building on that 7 energy. Not 2022, 2023. I'm tripping. You know what I'm saying? But that's how this time got people feeling. It's like odd. It's like a lot of nostalgia a little bit, because in the new world, in the new time, it's like, you know, things really ain't changing back. And you know, that's one thing that just I don't know why, because it's always been like that. You know what I'm saying? You never could really get time back, but for some reason during this time period, it is coming off more noticeable. Like, just the fact that I think because of the way the world shifted, and the, you know, we in a whole new age. Before it was like, yeah, time didn't progress, but we was still within the same age. So even though, you know, things didn't go back to, you know, things advanced and there was progress made, there was still a somewhat of a bridge that you could make between what was new and established versus what was old. And, you know what I'm saying, that was where you can get a lot of the nostalgia thing. Like, for instance, a lot of the early 2000s and stuff like that, you could go back to the 90s and be like, and relive it. You could be in the 90s in the current time back then and still somewhat be relevant, still be able to kind of maneuver and still live out that fantasy, even if you wasn't really all the way in touch with the new technology advances. Nowadays, you can't go past a certain time period without completely feeling out of place. I mean, even different ideals and concepts, even like what I was talking about in last video about romance, and how certain aspects of romance need to be updated and revamped, because it's just not, it don't hit the same no more. It's like how we even conduct relationships is completely different. The whole schematics. So, you know, when you think about it, like, that's where we at right now as a whole. Like, you know, everybody is coming to grips with that, and the moon opposing Pluto kind of gave you know, that was an intense energy that we all had to kind of accept and surrender to. You know, surrender been a big word I've been using for the last couple videos, just because when it comes to Pluto energy, it's like there's nothing you can really do except for just understand, like, okay, this is the transformation, and stepping into that ain't easy. You know what I'm saying? Like, having to come to grips with that, that's like an intense emotional change, emotional shift. And you know what I'm saying, the sun leaving that energy is like, we already seen it coming, but now we're feeling the effects of the change and the transformation and the death, and what that actually means on the grand scheme of things. You know, and, you know, it could take you to a dark place. It could take you to a place where, hopefully, you know, on the full moon energy, is taking you to a place where at the very end you can release. You know what I'm saying? And you can feel like, you know what, there are things in here I can be satisfied. Now let's talk about the full moon in Leo in general. So that energy is being satisfied with your expression, your self-image, how you see yourself, how others see you. And it really comes down to confidence, self-confidence. How deep do you believe in yourself? You know what I'm saying? How deep is your belief in yourself? Especially during times of uncertainty, you know, during times of, you know, and one of the big things about this time is forcing yourself into your power without the need for certain validation. You know, putting yourself in a position mentally where validation isn't a factor on whether or not you can get up and do what you need to do. You know, you need to be satisfied on that front, and that'll lead you to better conclusions. Even if you're still fighting with certain things internally that aren't easy to deal with, at least you'll be in the right space as far as understanding that, okay, I cannot rely on external people, places, and things to give me the green light. I basically have to go in and create that light if I want to see any shine, if I want to see anything of my dreams, especially dreams and our imaginations coming to fruition and things of that nature, our goals. You're gonna have to muster up that strength, and you know, the tarot card, the strength card is correlated to Leo in the tarot deck. So a lot of this does come, you know, again, if you feeling, you know, it's normal. You're feeling weak at the moment, you know what I'm saying? It's coming from you on some level not being fully satisfied with your character, and on some level still relying on external things to give you that encouragement, and you know, you might not see it. And it's not a situation where, again, on the negative end of this, planting bad seeds, and let's say it led up to this explosion on a full moon, this is going to be you overexpressing yourself, blowing things up, blowing up spots, blowing up bridges and things of that nature, based upon you feeling like you're not getting the proper attention, you're not getting validation, you like, you know, what's going on. And this will be you either acting out in an extreme way or manner, based upon you feeling as though you're not seen, and you're going to be doing all this, that, and the third for attention. And you know, it's going to come off very distasteful, and it's going to put even bigger blemish on your status, in the sense of your ability to associate. Because remember, the sun, our focus right now, the sun is in Aquarius, but we still got that stellium in Capricorn that's making its way to Aquarius. So when you think of that, about the context of that, a lot of the energy, even though we're paying attention to associations, right, we still have a lot of things based upon our status that are determining how easy or difficult it is to still associate yourself. So if you think about it, if you creating all these weird expressions and you're blowing up spots and you being this, that, and the third, all for the sake of attention, somebody's going to pick up on that, and that's going to put a blemish on your status in regards to, you know, again, it's going to come off. And remember, Leo is in conjunction to Capricorn. So when it comes to the energy still in there, like again, I don't know if Mercury already in there, but Mercury, if Mercury is, you know, still cuspy, or even if it's in Aquarius, that's even more intense, because it being in Aquarius is still going to be opposition. How we communicate at the moment, if we're communicating too much based upon our feelings, based upon how we want to be seen, and again, if this is in a distasteful manner based upon us not getting attention, then there's going to be a lot of things said that we can't take back, a lot of things expressed that we might have should have just kept to ourselves, you know what I'm saying? But you know, now it's out in the open, and if you know, it could take a hit on your status. Same thing with Mars and our passions and things of that nature. That's an inconjunct with Leo. So again, if you're trying to conduct business, you're doing things, and you know, with your passions and things of that nature, and you're trying to, you know, get the ball rolling on that front. If you're expressing yourself in a ways, again, there's no intelligence behind it, there's no practicality or no logic behind it, it's just pure raw expression. And it's not, and keep in mind, like when I say that, right, there's a difference between expressing yourself in that manner, but it coming from a genuine place, aka is well deserved, is you fighting fire with fire, or things that you know, is justified. And I'm not talking about your own mental illness justification of things based upon you just wanting certain things and thinking things should be your way. I'm talking about you in a genuine space of expressing what's on your heart, and it's being able to be received. That's different than the first one that I was talking about. So if you're speaking on that front, then you know, things are a lot easier to be, you know, you'll be in that space where it's, you know, it's justified, people understand it, boom, you know, you don't really have to worry or think too much about it. But you know, expressing yourself in a way that is just coming from you wanting attention, and you actually feeling very very down about yourself, that's going to play out as misunderstanding. So if you, like I was saying before, if you're trying to conduct business, people are going to be looking at that in regards to your passion especially, and they're going to be questioning whether or not they want to associate with you, and that can kind of mess things up for you in the long run in terms of how you even conduct business, or you know, again, because this is blemishes on your status regarding your passion and you expressing yourself in a way that's not authentic. And that's the point I was getting at. You know, us reacting out of insecurity and acting or expressing ourselves based upon, you know, lack of confidence or wanting attention and things of that nature. A lot of times these natures aren't genuine. These things aren't really you. They're you being changed by the circumstance around you. You know what I'm saying? Versus, you know, you being yourself and maybe even enforcing boundaries and things of that nature, or just expressing what's on your heart. That is a more genuine energy that can be received way better than you doing these things based upon you feeling as though you're not getting enough of something. You know what I'm saying? It's a difference. And it all comes back to authenticity. If your expression is authentic, you'll always be in a space where you're giving grace. And even if people don't understand it, you'll have enough understanding to stand on what it is that you're saying. But you know when you expressing things based upon you feeling like you lack, and you know that that's coming from a place again of it's not really authentic, it's not really true, it's really you lying to yourself, or you using that to kind of mask another expression that is maybe a little more deep and a little more behind closed doors, a little more sensitive, and you're not confronting that. Because I think in this new time we all need to become a lot more emotionally self-sufficient, in the sense of we're not allowing so many things in the external world to sway us this way, that way. I mean, we've been talking about states of being since the beginning of this stuff, you know what I'm saying, back that, I mean early videos I was making and things of that nature, things coming down to your state of being, understanding what you're feeling. And again, that's why, like, even in these last couple of years, there was a resurgence of the importance of therapy and stuff like this. And like, again, if you need a therapist, then that's ain't nothing wrong with that, because sometimes we need somebody outside of ourselves to regulate emotions and things of that nature. But we all need to learn how to regulate our own emotions too. So if you are on a spiritual journey and you understand, like, okay, it's my responsibility to figure out my own emotions, because that's the thing, with a therapist is an external person trying to tell you about yourself. So that it can be helpful, but there's only so far another individual can really do to help you sort things out for you. At some point, you're gonna have to take the reins and step up and say, okay, well, let me manage my emotions. Let me be the true, what you would call it, you know what I'm saying, the creator in a sense, you know what I'm saying, to create my own vibe so that I can move and maneuver my life in a proper way. That's got to be on you, you know what I'm saying, that's got to be your initiative, you know what I'm saying. What'd you say? You playing? Okay. But that's got to be on you. That's got to be your thing, you know what I'm saying. That's got to be your decision to make, you know what I'm saying. You can't let nobody make that for you, and you can't be too scared. And a lot of times, like I said before, it takes time, it takes time to develop that and get to a point where, you know what I'm saying, you trust yourself to even have those conversations with yourself. But those are the conversations that need to be had, conversations with God, essentially, Now, when we're talking about, like I said, this full moon energy, when it comes to, being satisfied in that regard, you want to make sure you're, taking that initiative. And, again, full moons is not times to be doing too much. So you want to be mindful about what energy you are putting out and making sure that it's not coming from a place, again, of lack and insecurity, because that's what's going to basically be coming up. Lack, insecurity, fear, feeling like, okay, I'm not getting enough attention. And we're at a time right now, again, we're in the middle of the winter. So even right now, a lot of things are needing for your presence. It's like we can't hide ourselves, especially not in these times. And these times is very important, especially early on, like I was saying before in that last video. Like right now, we're setting ourselves up for a positive transit moving forward, or a positive new year, a new start. So right now, it's getting your ducks in a row. You know what I'm saying? You want to make sure, again, the name of the game right now with the sun in Aquarius is associating, is networking, is communication on some level, but it's fixed communication. So first and foremost, we need to know what's first on our mind to express and communicate. You know what I'm saying? And getting that cleared first. And again, if it's not coming from a genuine space, if it's not coming from a place of authenticity, then what you're going to be communicating is going to be insecurity, is going to be things that when people sit back, and it might sound good, but when people come back and look at it, it's going to be an incongruence with what you're saying versus what they're picking up on. And if these things is too incongruent, then you're not going to be trusted in these circles. You're not going to be received as well as you could be in these networks. Because again, we all make mistakes, and we all fall short on some degree, and we all, you know what I'm saying, nobody perfect, nobody got the perfect formula for anything. So everything is trial and error, and we all going through things that no one else can see. So we all got pieces of ourselves that we're still working through to become more authentic. But again, it's kind of like that analogy with a backpack going to class, you know what I'm saying, and having too much in your backpack to the point where you can't get into that classroom. it's too much baggage on you. So, you know, you got to really work to shed a lot of these old things. And again, we working with Pluto. So this is all deep transformations. Now, the moon is pretty fast. So I think even at this point, the moon should be entering Virgo real soon. So what's that leading to? You know, we're now in the waning period, which is the, you know, more reflective time, more time to go internal. So right now, with the moon sliding potentially in Virgo, it's going to be about us organizing things, getting things back in order. This is I believe a grand Earth trine coming up. So this is a time for us to, especially when it comes to how we want to associate, what we're associating with, how we go about associating. We need to make sure these things is practical. We need to make sure we do the proper procedures that allow these things to run more smoothly and efficiently. Now, Virgo in conjunct Aquarius, so that's a misunderstanding. We might misunderstand, you know, again, our association may come off a little too dry. It might come off a little too practical, a little too, you know, because Virgo wants to be safe, do what's tried and true, but Aquarius likes to be a little more outlandish, a little more unique. So we have to trust ourselves to kind of be ourselves in a sense and still think what's efficient. You know, and the Grand Earth Trine is going to help us kind of put a lot of these different things into a practical manner so that we can conduct ourselves in a way that's, again, efficient, you know. But first, before I get into that, the moon in Leo was trying to Chiron, you know what I'm saying? So again, the gift to face our mistakes. So, facing mistakes is not always the most comfortable thing to do. But if you were in that sweet spot where, let's say, you planted enough seeds to where you could come to grips with certain things you made as mistakes, but still feel like, you know what, but these things made me, then you're in a much better space energetically than someone who is allowing these mistakes to hold them back still. You know, I remember what I did last time, that was a mistake, so maybe I'm making a mistake now. And that type of train of thought, even though, yeah, it might feel like, well, I'm being cautious, but at the same time, it's also you projecting or, you know, creating a reality of yourself based upon the past. And whenever we get caught up in that creates a loop. This is why we go through the same BS over and over again, you know what I'm saying, just based upon us being in that space of being like, well, if I'm, you know, doing this, you know what I'm saying, or nothing's going to change. And it's true, but nothing can change unless you change. And what has to change first in order for anything to be played out through actions? Your mind. So if you're still in that same mindset, or you're allowing old mistakes to still haunt you, then you're going to stay in that space, and you're going to create loops and loops and loops for yourself that create even more karmic debt and put you in a position where, you know what I'm saying, it's that much harder to get to a new space. It's that much harder to change your life. And that's, you know, again, you can't blame nobody but yourself. Now, the moon also was trying in the North Node, so this is us feeling more connected with our spiritual path, but this could also be highly uncomfortable with what we're experiencing at the moment, based upon the moon being you know, who we are, but connected to our spiritual path. We're seeing that right now. We're looking at it. So you might get caught up in things that you still haven't done yet, and you can't look at it like you know what I'm saying, if you get caught up in what you haven't done, it might affect your ability to get up and still do it. You know what I'm saying? You still got time, and there's no time but now. So it's like, it's that kind of light switch that got to go off. You know, if you get too caught up on what you ain't did yet, these things can start to become so daunting and scary that, you know, it starts to kind of scare you out of, you need a tissue? No, okay. You know, it can scare you into, you know, not going for it, or still hiding behind certain other things. You know what I'm saying? You could be hiding behind yourself, or hiding behind, you know, what you're scared to still go through. And we have to kind of develop that courage. And that's another thing, like I was saying before, Leo energy dealing with strength, courage, you know what I'm saying? The courage of lions, you know what I'm saying? And what it means to be courageous and stand in the face of, you know, adversity and all these different things that might be, again, very, very terrifying at first. You know, it takes a lot to be able to stand on that, but, you know, your ability to fight through it is going to show God and the universe, basically, you know, what you are made of and what you're here to do. And that's kind of what we have to do. We have to, because even with Leo energy is the character, is the charisma, is the expression of things, it is the light. So, you know, if you're not going to stand on that, then you have to accept that, maybe it's not going to come all the way. You know what I'm saying? If you're not willing to stand in that, then, you know, you do yourself a disservice. I'll say that. Now, the moon was also in conjunct Saturn and Pisces. So again, misunderstanding how your character might fit within reality. You know, we're all dealing with a new self, and we're figuring out how to associate that. And this right here, this full moon represents kind of the culmination. Because if you think about it, like with the full moons, you know, again, this is leading up to the last full moon. You know what I'm saying? The last full moon will be the one in Virgo, right? I believe so, because that's when we're in Pisces season, and then we'll be going into the new year for real. And I think by that time it'll be a new moon. Yeah, either Virgo, I think, or Libra. I don't know. Probably Libra though. But you know, yeah, probably Libra. I think we got 2 more full moons into the real new year. So when you think about that energy, it's like, you know, right now we're wrapping things up. So if you look at the train that we've been on since the new year previously, right? Like this whole transformation, this whole journey has been about our new self and aspects of our higher self, right? That's really our true self. So at this point, this is us putting one of those finalization stamps on who we actually are in that higher self sense. So right now, if you don't feel and you don't step into your higher self, then, you know, if you're not feeling it, and again, you probably won't be, you know, all these energies are going to make you feel almost like an imposter in your own skin, or have the potential to, you know, because Pluto is a high discomfort energy. It's a highly discomfort. Oh, shoot. It's a highly uncomfortable energy. You know what I'm saying? It's a hard one to kind of grip with. Like I was saying before, it's like shedding skin. So in that new skin, you might not even feel like it's all the way yours yet, but you have to own it. You know what I'm saying? You got to step into it with confidence and understand, like, this is my new life now. This is what I'm on. And step into that with confidence. But you know, again, that comes with a certain level of uncomfortability that we all got to deal with. And, you know, again, this time is going to feel weird, but the more we work with it, again, this is in terms of that journey that I was talking about, this is that getting used to that new skin part. You know, this is you embodying that character. And so now you have to carry that out, you know, and that's what's going to carry you through this waning period into the next new moon. And then the next new moon will be the one in Aquarius, right? Yeah, because the last one, it should be the one in Aquarius, right? And then that'll be, you know, new ways to associate that character, you know, actually, you know, even though the sun is in Aquarius, y'all know the sun kind of get in there first, and we kind of see what it's hitting for as we come off the old energy. But by the time the new moon comes around, we should have our feet wet. We should know kind of what's going on, and that's going to help us. You know, right now it's going to feel a little sloppy. It's going to feel like a little clunky, and we're not really going to be sure, but we have to create that certainty in ourselves. We have to create that confidence within ourselves to be like, oh yeah, I can stand on this. Remember, Leo was a fixed fire sign, so we have to fixate ourselves in that. We have to embrace it and be like, okay, this is it. We have to own it. And then, like I was saying before, going into the next energies, it'll be the next full moon. It'll be in Pisces, and that'll be, you know, but I don't want to get too ahead of myself. So yeah, and then we have that moon also squaring, you know, Jupiter. So learning how we fit as ourselves in our experiences, and, you know, again, that center stage place, or that place in which things are expressed and outwardly shown, we have to figure out, you know, how, okay, learn the reality behind that, learn the you know, what's stable about that, and we have to figure out where it fits in the grand scheme of things. And then also Uranus, so learning how that coincides, our true self coincides with our uniqueness, and being able to highlight those different things and stand on them, you know what I'm saying? Because we're dealing with a lot of fixed energies when it comes to these transits too. So, you know, figuring out how to fixate in this newness is going to be highly important. the next phases of it, what's after that? You know, we got, I already talked about the in conjunction. Hold on real quick. So yeah, speaking of that fixed energy too, I just realized we got everything in fixed signs except for Scorpio. So it's like, it really, and I think an asteroid is in Scorpio. So it really is a kind of like needing to settle into yourself time. You know what I'm saying? All these changes going on, you know, we have to really settle into ourselves. We have to figure out what that means to us, and do the best we can to kind of set up shop in a sense. You know what I'm saying? You want to make sure you setting up shop in the right way, and that you're not just, you know what I'm saying, dang, this dude was tripping. But you know, you setting up shop in the right way, and you're not just bullshitting yourself. You know what I'm saying? You want to actually be about something right now. You know, kind of stand on something. You know, if you don't stand for nothing, you fall for anything type energy, where in the amidst of these changes, you could be still scared to express yourself. You could be still scared. It's like, man, at this point in time and just the era we in, you cannot be scared if you want something out of life. Like, at this point in time, like, if you want stuff out of life, if you really still trying to fight for a life that you want, you gonna have to fight for it. You can't be bull, you know what I'm saying? Can't be BSing, man. You gotta really get it, like, you know what I'm saying? But that's easier said than done, you know what I'm saying? Because it take a lot, you know what I'm saying? It take a certain amount of focus, and that's kind of what we all have to do, apply focus and still some discipline, especially those energies that come in Capricorn. But we're not going to be able to do it alone. But at the same time, we have to make sure we come correct. So coming correct looks like you having your own shit together, you knowing who you are, and being able to associate yourself in that manner that actually garners respect. You know what I'm saying? If you trying to conduct yourself in a way and you still can't, you know, you still being inauthentic, you still not being real with yourself, then that's all on you. You know what I'm saying? That's stuff that is going to come out and come back to bite you in a sense. So, you know, we all have to be mindful of that aspect. But with all this fixed energy, you know, again, stand on something. Even if you're unsure about it, you know what I'm saying, you need to at least emulate confidence, or express confidence in it, you know, especially now. And if you're still not confident in it, you know, again, we're going through a waning period. So this is an internal build. So the next kind of signs is going to be that we're going to be dealing with, it's going to go through Virgo. Then it's going to go, you know, and Virgo is the details of the matter. So the details between the things you're associating with and how you go about associating, what works and what's not working within your associations. You know, this is internally, but also how you display them things, and what you're actually working on with other individuals that you're quote unquote associated with, you know what I'm saying, or networking with people, part of your network, who fits in your network and who don't, you know, who's good for business and who bad for business. But also, and then it's going to go into Libra. So that's going to be big relationship energy, but it's going to be needed, you know what I'm saying? So again, fixing what needs to be fixed internally so that we can now relate better, you know what I'm saying, relate with our associations better. And these are the type of relationships that's actually going to take us to a place that we trying to go. You know, if we continue to relate in the ways that we've been relating, we're going to come off outdated, we're going to come off lost, and not really having the right lingo, not knowing what to do. Again, associations are going to fall short. So we have to iron these things out. Then when it comes to you know, even when it comes to yeah, okay, and then after associations is going to be into Scorpio. So this is when things are going to get a bit deeper. This is when, you know, you're going to have to know who to trust within your associations and networking. You're going to have to trust yourself too, because there's going to be certain deep passions and deep things you're associated with that you're going to have to ask yourself, is this actually helping me, or is this holding me back? Is this a passion that deserves my attention, or is this a passion that's creating auras that's making it even more difficult to have a network that's strong and trusted? You know what I'm saying? Because some things that we might be holding behind closed doors be the very same reasons why people don't want to associate with us, or don't know why we can't network with certain, you know, go in certain doors and have certain conversations, just based upon certain things we're into behind closed doors. And you know, again, you want to be at that point you want to be around associations that you can trust on that level, to where you don't have to feel like there's anything that you have to keep a secret, or even if you do have secrets, you know, you want to make sure there's secrets that actually, you know, benefit things. Because sometimes people can hold secrets that don't necessarily harm others. You know what I'm saying? They could actually be beneficial. There could be things that you're working on behind closed doors that is actually for the greater good of the community, or for the, you know, for the people that, and, you know, things that, like I was saying before, the mind of the general. You know what I'm saying? Where you're dealing with foot soldiers who might not understand certain concepts yet. So it's more like, well, I better just get it together and then show them when it's time to show them. But right now, I might not be able to explain the whole plan, because they might look at me like I'm tripping. You know what I'm saying? But they don't see what I see. And it might be energies like that. You know what I'm saying? You never really know. But regardless, we're going to have to find a way to associate those things, and at least associate with our deep desires in the sense of not being afraid to express them. Because if you're in the right space, you should be in a space where you can confidently express everything. And, you know, you don't have to feel like, oh, well, I shouldn't express that. Or, you know, you won't have to feel like, basically like how Scorpios be feeling, vulnerable or exposed, just based upon you communicating something that, you know, was kept behind closed doors at that time. And then after that, it's Sagittarius. So that's the opportunity for you to, you know, travel with what it is you're associated with. You know what I'm saying? Your ability to expand on it as well. Your ability to even teach and experience, or go through certain experiences with your associations that, you know, take things further. You know, so on and so forth. And then, you know, and Scorpio is going to be that quarter point, you know what I'm saying, where we're halfway through. And then Sagittarius, and then after that is going to be Capricorn again, you know what I'm saying, Capricorn. And then that's going to be a time where, okay, now we have a new way to think and be practical when it comes to how to use our associations, and also how to be used by those who are in our network, in community, you know what I'm saying, how to be used by them. So at this point, you know, it's going to be that kind of vibe. And then by this time, I think the sun will be making its way into sun will probably be making its way into Pisces, if I'm not mistaken. So, you know, it's going to be a whole different vibe with that. I don't want to get too far into that, but that's just to give you insight of kind of where we at right now. And all this is kind of falling on the shoulders of our new personality, of our new self, you know what I'm saying, our true self. So that higher self, that's really your true self. So, you know, we just got to lean into it at the moment, you know what I'm saying? Lean into it, accept the fact that this is where we at with it. And, you know, if there's still some things you want to adjust, you know, again, change is inevitable. We always got time to change. So, you know, let that be what you put your energy into, and you'll get where you're trying to go, you know what I'm saying? But you gotta put it together, though. You know what I'm saying? That's the first and foremost thing. You got to put it together. No one else can kind of tell you how to put it together. You are the master when it comes to that. So, you know, do the best, you know, do the best you can with it. And let that be what it is. You know what I'm saying? Let God work, you know what I'm saying, work through you type shit. And I think that's about it. I'm going to go ahead and make that Virgo video right now. So, let me make sure, double check. Let's see, moon and full moon in Leo. Yeah, that's about it. See, I went through Aries, I went through Pisces, I went through Aquarius, I went through Cap, I went through Sag, I went through fucking Scorpio, I went through Libra, I went through Virgo. I know, I'm like trying to make sure I hit everything, man, because I be hating when I watch a video back and I'm like, damn, I missed this. But I think I'm cool. I'm about to jump into that other video. Much love. Catch you on the next one. Peace.